guys? Welcome back for another golden nugget of wisdom with me, Sam, host of Elite Life with Sam podcast. So, this week we are going to talk about fake it till you make it. Now, if you're like me, does that give you just like a sinking gut feeling? I pride being authentic, maybe above all else. Honesty maybe comes a close second. But I feel like if you're authentic, that just shines through no matter where you are or what you do. And so the thought of being fake until you make it, which is such a big part of our culture today with social media, with manifesting mindset, with talking about overcoming imposter syndrome, fake it till you make it just seems so disingenuous for me at least. So if that's kind of your mindset as well, then this is going to be a really great episode for you. Now, I'm going to share a really raw experience with you guys that started in 2022. Rich and I were faced with a really difficult decision because outside circumstances that were beyond our control meant that Elite was put into kind of a precarious situation, and we really needed extra hands-on at the shop. So we had to make a decision. Do I stick with my boutique that was really growing and thriving, or do I shut it down and come on board at Elite and throw all of my expertise here at the shop? So that's exactly what we decided to do because, mind you, we still had a family at home that needed full attention as well. So I shut my boutique down and decided that I was going to take on more of a management role, handle branding, marketing, customer relations, and just start trying to unwind the mess that had been left from a previous employee. So I jumped in both feet and directly was in over my head. I honestly had no business being in the automotive space whatsoever. Guys, when I met Rich in 2018, I didn't even have tinted windows. I drove a fully stock Terrain, maybe one of the worst cars that you can actually get, and it was boring. It was a mom mobile. So when I met him, he started educating me just by proxy. Being, in close relationship with him, I began to pick up things about the industry that I thought were really cool. Well, when I took this position, I quickly realized that wasn't enough. There were lots of technical questions. There was lots of information and knowledge that I needed, and I had none of it. But I was thrown into this leadership position and was faced with a lot of industry professionals who knew what was going on, and I had to, quote, fake it till I made it. So I had to quickly take in a lot of information, do a good job, while undoing this rat's nest of a mess. I had no idea what I was doing, and I really had no business doing it. At least that's what my brain kept telling me. I actually was doing a really good job. Mind you, I might have been breaking absolutely all of the rules that were set previous to me in this industry, but looking back now from 2025 to 2022, that's exactly what needed to happen. Once I jumped in, I began to see all of the potholes and the pitfalls and the holes in the whole industry, and realizing that it had kind of become the good old boys club and a lot of people weren't welcome in this industry. So I really had to figure out my own way and my own path in my position at Elite, if that makes any sense. And in doing so, I figured out how to empower a whole new demographic of people. We have seen an influx of more women and more minorities, and just all kinds of people who walk through the door and are shocked at how comfortable that they feel and how empowering the whole experience is. So this experience was so big and hard and scary, it actually sent me into therapy. And I'm so grateful that we made the decision to put me in this position, or for me to take over this position, because not only did it expose maybe some weak points in the industry, but a ton of weak points in myself. I began to realize how I projected my own fears and my own insecurities onto other people. I began to see how unhealed traumas around all kinds of things were coming out through these insecurities, and it really made me make a decision. Do I want to stay unhealed right where I am, and everybody suffers for it, or am I going to put in the hard work both personally and professionally and learn to grow, heal, and thrive? So that's exactly what I did. So here are some of the thoughts that continuously bombarded me. You aren't qualified. Someone else could do it better. You just got lucky. You really don't deserve this. And so what my therapist and I really started doing together was reframing these toxic, self-deprecating thought processes that were bombarding my brain every day. So have you ever heard the concept that what you resist persists? It's so true. It's like putting up a dam in a river and it just continues to beat the back of the dam. And so that's got to be a really, really strong dam. Instead, learn to observe the thought and talk back to it, because every thought that comes through your head isn't you. I know that sounds crazy because you're like, Sam, it sounds just like me. It's in my voice. No. It's not you. It's not happening to you. So here are some of the ways that I learned to reframe these thoughts. You aren't qualified. All right. That might be true, but I learn quickly. I adapt quickly. I'm really smart. I catch on fast. And so I may not be qualified now, but I will be by the time that this is over. The second one is someone else could do it better. Have you ever heard that? Have you ever thought that? Someone else could do this job better. Maybe so, but do you see anyone here doing it better than me? No. And the more you do it, the better you become at it. You got lucky. Absolutely not. The universe, God, recognized my strengths and put me in this position so that my talents could be rewarded and recognized. So you don't have to give in to every thought that flows through your mind, and you can absolutely talk back to it and reframe the answer or reframe the way that it's being thrown at you. And what that does is actually rewires parts of your brain. Okay, so here's the second thing that I do. This is a chapter that I took straight out of Marilyn Monroe's book. Do you remember hearing the story that she was walking down the street with a girlfriend and nobody was recognizing her? She was totally like just one of the other people on the sidewalk. And she turned to her friend and she goes, "Do you want to see me become her?" And the friend was completely confused and she was like, "What do you mean?" And she was like, "Watch this." And she stepped into this persona and took on this magnetic energy. And immediately she said taxis were stopping in the middle of the street. People were coming out of the stores. There was a mob forming around Marilyn Monroe. Let me tell you how to do this. And others are already harnessing this power. Think of Beyonce. She has an alter ego named Sasha Fierce. Nicki Minaj has Roman. These ladies have figured out how to create a persona when they feel nervous, not qualified, less than, and it's actually really brilliant. So here's how I do that. I'm obsessed with everything Olivia Pope. I think that she is the queen badass. So I sat down and thought to myself, if I were going to embody Olivia Pope, what would she look like? What would she sound like? How would she talk? How would she carry herself? How would she dress? How would she interact with people in this industry? How would she approach her position at Elite Customs? Now, this is where ChatGPT can come in handy. You can just jump on there and feed it a bunch of information about yourself and then ask it, if Olivia Pope were to address this situation, how would she do it and why? So what you want to do is just create an alter ego or a persona that you feel comfortable stepping into in situations where maybe you don't feel as confident or don't feel as ready or qualified or whatever the case may be. And Initially, this might feel a little uncomfortable, but the more you do this, the more you practice this adaptive mindset, the more comfortable it will become. And Beyonce does this because she's actually really shy and really nervous and very much an introvert. So she's learned to tap into her alter ego, Sasha Fierce, and step onto stage ready and consistent and blows it out of the water every time. Try this. I know it sounds nuts to some people, but just give it a little test. Do it for about a week and then let me know how you feel. All right, sister. Last part. Does this sound like you? You're exhausted. You are just ready for bedtime to fall into bed, waller down in your favorite spot, cover up with your big comfy blankets, and drift off to sleep. And so you do. You just settle down. So the time has come. You're there. You're ready. And then bam, a flood of thoughts. Just your mind starts racing and you can't get it to stop. Remember earlier when we said what you resist persists? I'm going to teach you something that is going to be life-changing for you. You've got to find a way to get out of your head. Right? You've got to find a way to get these thoughts to stop. Or do you just need to drop back down into your body? As women, we have such a bad habit of living in our brains. We thoughtcast years into the future. We're always planning our grocery list or our to-do list for the next 3 days. We are figuring out schedules for kids and who needs clothes washed and who has practice, or the list goes on and on and on. And so as women, we get trapped inside of our own heads, and really the trick is to just drop back down into your own body. So here's the practice that my therapist taught me. I'm going to teach you for free, and I think it's going to be life-changing for you. So what you want to do is just bring awareness back to your body, get still, and your focus is not on your racing thoughts. Your focus is on your body. How do your feet feel tucked underneath the covers? How do your legs feel? Your knees, your thighs, your hips, your fingers, your arms, your elbows, your shoulders. Are you holding any tension in these areas? If you are, slowly let that tension go. Notice your shoulders, notice your stomach. And all you have to do is focus on feeling these body parts. How are they feeling right now? And the last body part or area that you want to focus on is your chest. Notice how your breath rises and falls in your body. Notice how is your chest tight? Are you relaxed? How's your breathing? And as you become more and more aware of your breathing, I'm not asking you to do some fancy 4, 7, 8 or whatever these breath count rules are. I can never remember, and honestly, that's too much stress. We're just focusing on how your breath feels. How is your breathing pattern? And then I want you to visualize breathing in and out of your heart. So every breath in, you're breathing in with your heart. Every breath out, you're breathing out of your heart. And I just want you to stay here in this state as long as it takes to slow your mind, to stop the sudden onslaught of thoughts. It's like a landslide hitting your brain. And so the longer that you stay in your body and you focus on your breathing pattern and you visualize your heart opening up with every breath in and closing down with every breath out, it doesn't take but just a couple of minutes for that crazy thought flow to slow down to a manageable pace, or you may even find yourself already asleep. So this is a great way to bring awareness back to your body, stop the chaos that's happening, and then you're able to manage what thoughts you choose to observe, what thoughts you choose to allow to stick around, or what thoughts that you want to just pass by you. Kind of like sitting on a riverbank and you're watching the river flow by you and you're observing it. You're not jumping in with every bubble or gurgle. You're just observing it flow by you. And that's the way you kind of have to think about your thoughts that flow in and out of your mind. Not every one of them is true. Not every one of them is valid or useful at the moment. just let it flow by you, kind of like a river. And then when you see one that you feel like you really like to sit with, you just reach in, pick that out, and observe it and look at it and interact with it. So, guys, I hope that this little golden nugget helps you. We tried something new today. So if the video is really weird or awkward, I apologize. I'm not used to being on camera by myself. But let me know if these golden nuggets are helping you, because honestly, I am so excited to be able to bring you little experiences or wisdom that I've picked up in my life. So until next time, guys, love ya, mean it.